Hello everybody, this is Kay and welcome to my channel, Junking with Gigi. This is part 3 video on a series that I've been working on of altering a book into a junk journal. If you missed the first 2 videos and are interested in going back and watching this process from the very beginning, I will link those first 2 videos below. But I want to continue on today with some more of the inside work, and I'm going to share some of that with you on camera. I'm also going to do quite a bit off camera just to save time. So let me show you a couple of things that I've done since my second video. Whoops, that's not supposed to be there. This is a page that I prepared and I haven't actually glued this on here for this inside cover here. I just did some sponge painting with that 24 karat gold paint. You know how I love that acrylic paint. And I did a little splattering on the front cover and I used that on the spine. And I did sponge painted the inside of this. I also sponge painted this piece, which is going to go on this page to kind of frame out this little poem by George MacDonald called That Holy Thing. So I'm planning on putting that there. I did a little bit more stenciling. Let me see if I can, and I'm going to do even more stenciling throughout this, but it takes a bit of time because with the acrylic paint you have to give it time to dry. So like I did the cover and then I had to let it set and dry. I did this and then I had to leave it alone and let it dry. And that's why I can't really do all of that on camera. It just would take way too long. And then I also did that same stenciling or sponge painting on the inside of the back cover. Is I want to make a pocket for the inside of the front cover. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use this image. I took this out of that Norman Rockwell book of this trio of continental soldiers, I guess, playing, doing a trio there, and this came out of one of the music pages from that Norman Rockwell book. So I really like that image, and I kind of want to use that. I'm going to do kind of a corner pocket on the inside of the front cover. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to grab my ruler, and I'm going to just kind of tear this down to fit. Let me see, how should I do this? On the inside here. I'm going to tear this edge off. And I'm going to tear it along the bottom. Probably, I guess I should go just underneath their feet. Right here seems to be where the image ends. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a margin there. Tear that off. And I think, because I kind of think I want to do like a curved pocket, so I'm just going to take my scissors and kind of wing it. Like that. Now another thing I'm going to do is since this has acrylic paint on there and I don't want this sticking to it, is I'm going to take a piece of wax paper to put on the back of this, because that won't stick to the acrylic paint. And then I'm going to take this piece of, this is actually from some packaging from Baby Bell cheese wheels. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a little snack cheese package and it always comes wrapped in this kind of netting stuff. And I'm going to lay that across the top. And I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and sew all around this pocket. I feel like that'll be the best way to hold all this in place. So I'm just going to take some of these quilting clips and get it clipped in a couple of places. I don't need this much wax paper. And I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and sew around this pocket to hold these layers together. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay. I ended up sewing around it 3 times And now I'm just going to take my scissors and trim off all the excess around this pocket. While I was at it, I decided to make a pocket for the inside of the back cover too. This was from the poem section of that book, and it actually had the poem Mistletoe by Walter de la Mare. I think that's what that says. I kind of covered that up a little bit with my sewing, but I didn't want to lose the poem either, so I'm going to put this on the inside of the back cover. This is going to be on the inside of my front cover, and I think I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac to glue these down. I think it'll grab a hold of those threads better than any other glue that I have. So I'm going to grab that. This bottle is getting close to being empty, so I've had it standing upside down. I'm going to try and get this used up soon. Oh, it's leaking out on me. So I'm just going to run it along this edge and the bottom and glue that down. And this one will go on the back cover, and I think I'll just put the poem up here like this. Well, maybe I don't want to cover any. I just thought, isn't that such a sweet image, that older couple under the mistletoe? I don't want to cover that up at all, but I don't want to lose the poem either. So let me see. I could do something like that. I could put one up here. It's first verse, second verse. Or maybe I should stick to my original plan and just do this. I'll just have to make sure it's good and flat so whatever is tucked into that pocket doesn't get caught on it. I think that's what I'll do. First, the pocket. I am going to use my Fabri-Tac on these as well, but what I want to do here is kind of smooth it out so that it doesn't bump up or anything on the page. I want like solid coverage of it over the back of this, if that makes any sense. My glue just fell over. I got strings. So I'm just going to take my finger and kind of spread that glue out all over the back of each of these poem pieces. Love that. I think that netting gives it a real cool effect like that. Yeah, that's neat. Next, I'm going to do this page. And what I've got here, I already prepared these, is some kind of flips. Let me put something over here to hold that open. And I've got this cute little image of a little boy trying to stuff his pants and be chubby like Santa here. And I've got a little hinge piece on that. And then I made this gold background piece with a clear plastic pocket. And what I want to do with that one, and then I actually made two of them, okay? I'm sorry, I'm stumbling all over my words. So I made two of these. They're both hinged pieces. And what I want to do is put one on the front and one on the back with this pocket piece in the background. So it'll be like this. And this piece is hinged on, so it'll flip up, and then you can have something in the pocket here. I'm going to put one on this side and one on the back side. I think I'll put this piece, this is a piece of that scrapbook paper from that one pack. But first, I need to glue this down. In case you're wondering how I did this. So this is a piece of plastic that comes out of like a photo album, that type of plastic. And I just kind of cut it up and wrapped it around and used some strong masking tape to hold it on to the back. And I'm going to glue this whole piece down onto this page. And then I'm going to, actually what I should probably do is put the hinge under that just for extra reinforcement. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And then I also think I want to add something down here, like either a dangle or a tab or something like that, but I can always come back and do that later. And I'm going to put that one on this side, and I'm going to put this one on this side of this page. So, let's see. So I glued those on. I haven't glued them to the page yet because I think I do want to go ahead and put some kind of a tab on these. And I have this strip of gold paper left over. I have 2 strips actually left over from when I made these pages. I don't need them both, but I think I'm going to make like little tabs out of these. And I'm just going to cut this one in half. I'm going to fold each one in half, and then I'm going to adhere them to the page somewhere. I'm not real sure where, maybe on the side or the bottom. So it'll be like a little tab, so it'll be a clue to grab it. You're supposed to grab this and lift this up. That's what that's going to supposedly tell whoever gets this journal. I think I'll round these corners. I'm going to use this smaller, little rounder. Put the tab on this side because this will be on the back side of this page, so it'll be on the outside to lift up. So I've got those ready, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them down. Both of those in now and ready to put something in the pockets. And I do have one thing already made for one of these pockets, and this is just a poem from that book by Christopher Smart, The Nativity of Our Lord Jesus Christ. So I'm just going to tuck that into that pocket there, and I'll have to make something else for this pocket. But that is pretty much done there. So I've got a lot more decorating to do, like on plain spots like this, and then I also still have a lot of text showing, and I don't know if I'm necessarily going to cover up all the text, but we'll see as we go along. This is that very first pocket, and what I did here was, this is a whole page that I took out of that book with the Christmas story from the book of Luke in the Bible, and it was double-sided, like it goes from one page to the rest is on the back, so I didn't want to destroy any of that story, so I just took that whole page out, and that will go into this very first pocket, like so. I did a few things off camera. First of all, I went back to this page, and what I decided to do to dress this up a little was I added some of this kind of gold ribbon down at the bottom here. I made a little twist of a ribbon here, and I added one of those. This is one of those faux wax seals that's actually a sticker. I think I had gotten those from your creative studio with a shipment one time, so I did that page. You saw this page and this flip. I've got the Christmas story in there. So on this next page, I had this music page of Joy to the World, and I didn't want to cut it up or anything, and I wanted the hymn intact, so I kind of just adhered that to the page with a fold in it and a flip. On this page, I have this adorable image of this young man waving his hat with his Christmas scarf on and red mittens. I did a little bit of stenciling. This is some Master's Touch thick body acrylic paint I picked up at Hobby Lobby in the color Pearlized Wine Red. That's what I used for the star stenciling. And this is one of those top loading pockets, so I simply made a little journaling card out of a file folder. I put an eyelet in it, and I put a little bit of tulle on the top. It's got some kind of gold polka dotty pieces in that tulle, and that's just tucks into that top pocket. And while I was making the top pocket ones, I had two other top pockets like that. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I set that aside. So I went ahead and made journaling cards for the other two top pockets. This is just some heavy-duty kind of craft cardstock, and I just punched 2-inch circle punches and put an eyelet in there. Not sure, I might dress that up a little bit more. That's for that top pocket. And then I had one more top pocket towards the end. Actually, the very last pocket of the book is a top pocket. And I took a strip of that scrapbook paper that I still had left from that paper pack, and I simply folded it over, and I made a little lip here. I'm going to glue that down because it's got that branding strip on it. And then I took a little gold cross paper clip and just kind of slipped it in that top pocket. And I know it covers up that notch on that side, but that's fine. And then this paper clip just goes on the top, and I've got a little bit more of that tulle on there. In these three little side loading double pockets, I've tucked some plain mini craft tags, craft paper tags, and I just got some of my little Christmassy poinsettia holly stickers and put them on there for those three little pockets. And these, I'm gonna do something with it. It's too plain, but I just cut some strips out of leftovers to put in these end pockets. This has got some lined paper on it for writing space. This is just an extra piece of that cardstock for these three side loading pockets. I made several little pockets off camera using some of the book pages that I removed from the book, and this was just a simple little fold up pocket, and I did fold over the edges just to reinforce those edges. And then I adhered on one of those little die cut stickers that came with the paper pack on each one of these pockets. I made 7 of them. And then of course I had to do my gold splatter, and I outlined it with a black marker just to make that stand out a little bit. And then for each one of these little pockets, I made kind of a triple layered tag that I put together with scraps, again, of the scrapbook paper and different papers. And also on top of each one, I did a little vellum tag. And I decided to emboss these with some angel images stamps that I have and of course I used my gold embossing powder. I have I have 3 different angel stamps, and I had also this stamp that came from a different set that's just some stars and flourishes, spiral stars. I thought these looked really cute with the 2 bottom tags in the pocket and then the vellum one just kind of on the outside. So I want to place these into the journal in various spaces. I want to put this pocket on this page. You can see I did some stenciling in kind of a brown color here in the corners, but I think I want to disguise some more of this text before I adhere this down. So I'm going to take my acrylic paint again in the pearlized red wine, and I'm going to use one of these little sponges, and I'm just going to kind of go around a little bit up here and down here to mask that text. Of course, I need this paint to dry before I can proceed, so I'm going to speed dry it today with my heat gun. Got a little heavy-handed with my paint, my sponge painting on this page, so I am just going to stick a piece of parchment paper in there before I go on, just so it doesn't, because it's still slightly tacky, so it doesn't stick to this other page over here. I got a little messy too. See, I got some on this page, but that's okay. Got all of those pockets placed in the journal, and I'm going to leave my little piece of parchment paper in here for a while just to make sure nothing sticks. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this aside for a little while. I still have a few full pages of text like this that I want to put something on, and that's what I'm going to work on next. I thought I had finished this, but apparently I forgot to actually glue down my pocket. So this is my window pocket. I'm going to glue down on the 2 sides here, and then we're going to make one of these together on camera. I kind of figured this out this morning. This is actually the second one that I made. My first one, my original prototype, it turned out okay, but you know how when you're figuring something out, you make mistakes and you think, well, I should have done this differently and I should have done that differently. That's what happened with that first one. So I made another one, this one, where I made some changes to the design of it. For this project, we're going to use 3 sheets of paper from that Norman Rockwell book, and I'm going to start out by trimming all of them down to 6 inches wide. That's the width that I need to be able to cover up the text that's in the book. So I'm gonna trim this edge, and what I've gathered here is one kind of texty page and 2 more music pages from that Norman Rockwell book. So that's 6 inches, and I'm going to do the same with these other 2. I want my window pocket part to be mostly text, so I'm going to go ahead and fold this here and at the bottom, and it's going to be, you know, about 6 by 6 when I get this part folded. So I'm going to kind of use the lines on my mat here, and I'm going to fold that up the other way. So this is going to be my window pocket area of this kind of envelope window pocket, I guess we can call it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tear off some of this excess on this. This is going to be the top edge of our pocket right here. This is going to be this edge right here. So before I forget about it, I'm going to go ahead and ink that edge, because once it's all glued down, it's next to impossible to ink an edge like that. So I'm going to do that. And that's my pocket area where I'm going to have my cutout for my window. I did an oval on this one, but I think on this one I want to do kind of this scalloped circle. So I'm going to place that kind of middle from right to left, but a little bit lower, because I am going to have a flap coming over, and I don't mind if the flap covers up the window a little bit, but I'm going to take this to my die cutting machine and cut it out about right there. I use a couple pieces of washi tape just to hold my die in place, because sometimes they slide around and then it just makes it easier, and washi tape, as you know, is removable. So I'm going to take this now to my die cutting machine and cut out my window. So I got that cut. I'm going to very carefully remove my washi tape here so it doesn't tear the paper. And then before I go on, I'm going to ink around the inside edge of this window. This is going to be a little trickier since it's scalloped. Next, I'm going to put my plastic in my window, and the way I'm going to do that is I have this piece of plastic here. Oh, and I wanted to show you that this is the type of plastic it is. It's from they're like little 5x7 page protectors, and I got a whole slew of these at a thrift store for, oh, it was cheap, like 50 cents a package. But what I want to do here, this might be hard to see since it's clear, is I want to cover my window on the inside, but I want the top edge to come under this, because that's where the top of this pocket is going to be, and if your window plastic is under that, then that keeps things from getting caught when you tuck things into the pocket. here's the window part of our little envelope pocket. And since this flap is glued over the top of that plastic, nothing's going to get caught on the edge of that plastic when you tuck things into the pocket. So, what I'm going to do next is put on the back of the pocket. And the reason I use several book pages is because I don't want anything to be upside down on this project. So when I tuck this in here, my music is going to be right side up, and I need to take off a little bit on the bottom here. Because what I want to see through that window is just the music paper. So this is going to slip in here like this. Okay. And where you make your top fold for your flap is going to depend on how tall you want your project. Now, for me, I wanted them to be about 7.5 inches tall to be able to cover those text pages in this altered book. So I'm going to take this and line it up on this fold down here at the bottom. So it's at 5, and if I want it to be 7.5 inches tall, 4, 5, 6, 7.5, I'm going to have to go to the 12.5 inch mark on my grid. So I'm just going to approximately fold it over right at that 12.5 inch mark. Just like that. Okay. So that's going to give me my, let me just double check, 7.5 inch tall pocket, which is the same size as this first one I made. Now you can see my flap is a different size, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead now and get this all lined up, and I'm going to glue. I'm actually going to turn this over. That'll be easier. I'm going to glue this down to the bottom here fold of that window pocket part of this project. Now all I have to do is put something on this flap, because see how that image is upside down? I don't like that. So I think that's where this third page comes in, and I think I just want to put a piece of this music on here. So I'm going to tear this off down here. That's going to get glued down onto the flap, so then everything is right side up. And even when you open the flap, this is right side up. Look, and I'm going to use my glue stick for this. Scissors and do a little bit of trimming. Sometimes you have just a little bit of variance in the sizes. Let me open this up actually and do it like this. Actually, let me turn it over. And just do a little bit of cleaning up of these edges. So I inked around everything, and last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and glue down my window pocket. I'm gonna find a couple of those pages that I had that were I had in mind to put one of these on. Here's one right here. So I'm going to start with my circle one and see how the size of this just perfectly covers that text on there. So I'm going to use my glue stick on this. I think that will hold it pretty well. This isn't really heavy, so I think a glue stick will be plenty for that. Tuck anything you want down into that pocket and it'll show through that window. Cute little kitty. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to leave in there, but I'll decide that later. After I finished those window pockets, I got busy for several days with family stuff going on, and I just this week got back to this journal. I wanted to show you real quick. I did make a couple of journal cards to put inside those pockets. I actually completed this journal. I'm down to crunch time, and I just made a little simple card with some die cuts for that pocket. With my holiday market coming up this weekend, and I just had to get this finished because I really wanted to take this with me to that market. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video today, and I'm going to do a fourth video. I know I said I was hoping to get it all into this third one, but that's just not going to happen because it's ending up taking me a lot longer. But I will do a fourth video of just a complete flip through of this altered book junk journal. So I thank you so much for watching today. Keep an eye out for that video coming up. And have a blessed day.